Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. I am your host, Harrison Graham, and on today's show, we are going to answer all of your questions. So use hashtag Bears or Super Chat if you want your question featured in today's mailbag video. From Marty K, thoughts on signing Tony Pollard in free agency? Appreciate the Super Chat. I'd be very open to that idea. Now, I think Tony Pollard's probably going to make pretty good money. What did Ryan Pace give Tariq Cohen? It was like 3 years, $19 million, so $6-7 a year. I think Pollard gets more than that. I think he gets like 8 or 9 a year. I think like 3 years, $26 million is probably what you're going to be looking at there. So I'd consider it. I think he could be a dangerous weapon as both a runner and a pass catcher. It'll be curious to see what happens with Dallas because they have a decision to make on Zeke Elliott. If they cut Zeke, you would think they're going to re-sign Pollard, but if not, maybe Pollard ends up walking. Lucas praying, think positive. If they lose the Packers get a worse draft pick, so really it's a Bears win. Yeah, I mean, it's a win-win, right? If you beat the Packers, you get a much-needed win against your rival. It's been a problem for the entire Rodgers era. If you lose, it's better for draft positioning overall. So, yeah, I think you're in a win-win position. Super chat from O'Geezer. Appreciate it, guys. Number 2 pick looks pretty solid. The way we play defense ain't no tank, just bad. Get me some monsters. Yeah, I mean, listen, if you get the number 2 pick, you're in a really good spot. Because I think number 1, Houston will decide between Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. I would guess Bryce Young. But teams are going to come calling for Stroud. So if you get a crazy offer, you can trade down to a team that wants Stroud. If not, you can draft Will Anderson or Jalen Carter. I mean, number 2 pick would be incredible. Bryce Callahan, if Justin Fields is out again, should we start Nathan Peterman just for the memes? I'm not opposed. Listen, when Nathan Peterman was announced briefly that he was going to start on Sunday, I kind of got a little burst of energy. I was like, well, let's ride. This is going to be entertaining. But then Simeon ended up playing through that oblique injury. But, yeah, I mean, why don't you guys decide? Who would you rather see start at quarterback? Type TS for Trevor Simeon or type NP for Nathan Peterman? I'm open to either in that scenario. Peterman would be more entertaining. Simeon's the better quarterback. But, hey, listen, if Fields ain't playing, I don't have that much of a interest in who starts at quarterback. Tin Bomb from Luis Martinez, Being okay with a loss against the Packers feels gross. I get not minding a loss against any other team, but not this week. Look, I'm not saying I'm okay with it. I'm saying if the worst case scenario is you lose and improve your draft positioning, at least that's a bit of a consolation. This is the first time in how many years where if you lose the Packers, there's at least some benefit. Yeah, like when Sunday gets here, I'm going to want to win the game, I'm sure, especially if Fields is playing. But at least we can understand that if they lose, there could be some benefit, which could help you beat the Packers in games that actually matter in the future. Jackson with the $10. Mooney is gone for the season. Yeah, it's a bummer, man. It's a bummer. He's done, Eddie Jackson, so – yeah, it's not ideal. You want your guys that could be here long term to play, and obviously that won't be the case for Darnell Mooney. Sorry for eating your burger. Appreciate all the super chats, guys. I really do. Who is the O-line coach because he needs to be fired? It's Chris Morgan. I'll push back on that. Any assistant coach that anyone's saying should be fired, I could maybe understand the Allen Williams because he wasn't a good D coordinator before with the Vikings, and year 1 hasn't gone great. But what personnel are these coaches working with? I mean, this roster, we just saw it on Sunday. When Justin Fields doesn't play, this is arguably the worst team in the league. It is. Like, Justin Fields has been carrying this team to competitive games for 6 weeks now. So, I think this coaching staff deserves to see what happens this offseason, see how it goes next year. And, yeah, if they have good personnel or better personnel and it's more of the same, then, yeah, the changes will and should come. But I think most coaches are going to get a pass because this personnel is just that bad. It is Packers week, and if you want an FGB T-shirt, I'll be rocking this on Sunday most likely. Then go ahead and order one today. Chatsports.com/FGB. They're very comfortable shirts, sizes up to XXL, I believe. So go check that out. FGB is the motto here at Bears Now. That never changes. FGB. Go get a T-shirt today. Luis Martinez, play him. I love watching this team actually be entertaining, and all reps are important. Use the opportunity to build skills and try new things. I assume you're talking about Justin Fields. And yeah, if he's healthy and there's no risk of further injury, then yes, I would like to play him. But if he's 75, 80% and can risk further injury, I would not play him. J-Bill's games, Fields needs these reps, especially with Claypool. It's stupid to let him sit if he can play. You got to have a line, though. Like, do I think he could play? Yes. But if there's a real risk of further injury, I'm not risking it at 3-9. Like, I'm just not doing it. If this team was 5-6 and still in the hunt for a playoff spot, I'd feel differently. But I'm not playing him with torn ligaments if it could be worse. Now, if they determine that further injury risk is minimal, then yeah, play him. But if not, then that's where I stand. Hey, Pa, the Bears should trade for Kyle Pitts from Atlanta. Oh, Kyle Pitts trade. Well, Fields and Pitts were working out together in the offseason, so that would be fun. I wonder what the Falcons would get for Pitts, because he's kind of been disappointing this year. Second-round pick? Would you trade that late pick from Baltimore to the Falcons for Kyle Pitts? I'd consider it, especially if you trade down from your first-round pick to get extra picks. So, I mean, that'd be fun. Cole Kmet and Kyle Pitts. This offense, if you can't get a true number one receiver, maybe you get a two good tight end pairing and two good receivers. You go Claypool, Mooney, Pitts, and Kmet. It could be fun. I'd be open to it. Subscribe today to Chicago Bears Now as we cover the latest Bears news. A lot of injury updates as of late. We'll continue to cover you guys with that. Big rumors on the internet, draft coverage. I'm still going to do another mock draft this week with the Bears having the number 2 pick. We've been doing weekly mock drafts. We're probably going to keep that going, especially if you guys continue to watch and enjoy those. So stay tuned in for that. Subscribe and try to lock in. Tune in. Don't punt on Bears Now, even if you're punting on the 2022 season, because we have a lot of content looking to the future, and there's still some exciting stuff to come. So hit that sub button. Sangray Kim, tank next year, get Caleb Williams in 2024. No, you're not tanking next year, Sangray. Now, if you come back next year and you add pieces in the offseason and Field struggles, then yeah, a quarterback in 2024 could happen. But I think it's very obvious that Fields, at least next year, is going to be the guy. And I assume with better pieces around him next year, then he's going to take another step. And this offense could potentially take off even further. Jeff Owens, FGB, Jeff living in Thailand. What's up, Jeff? Awesome content, man. Appreciate that. Sanborn is from my hometown, Lake Zurich. What are your thoughts on him long term? I like what I'm seeing. Do I think he's a superstar? No, but do I think he can be a starter? Absolutely. I think he's shown enough that if he finishes this year strong, you may have kind of backed into a starting piece there, which is huge. I mean, that's one less, need you have to worry about. I still think you'll have to go add at least one linebacker in the draft or free agency, but you're feeling a lot better if Sanborn can prove to be a starting piece. Vibing with the dog. Just wasn't our luck with injuries this season. This sucks, but at least we aren't purposefully tanking. Yeah, I mean, that's the good news, right? Is like the Bears don't even have to actively tank, which I don't think teams do anyway, but they're just not good. And when Fields doesn't play, they have almost no chance to beat anybody. So, yeah, I mean, that's the silver lining is, draft positioning. Kyle Smith, I'm all about draft capital at this point. Understandable. Can't blame you for that. Actively cheering against this team is not, I don't think, a step I would take. Like, I'm not going to sit here on watch parties and cheer for especially the Packers next week. But if it's Week 18 and if you lose to the Vikings, it's the difference between the 2nd pick and the 5th pick, then you might see me actively root against the Bears. Who knows at that point? But we'll wait and see. But, yeah, I mean, draft positioning is going to be huge for this offseason. It is Packers week, though, and you can't cheer for the Packers, so you know what to do. Type FGB. Make it happen. F Green Bay in the chat. It's this rivalry's got to start shifting in favor of the Bears. So get the FGBs going, and if Justin Fields plays especially, you better believe I'll be rooting for the Bears to win. Marty K, would you trade for DeAndre Hopkins? Doesn't look happy in Arizona. Hey, if he's available, I'm interested. I wouldn't trade my first-round pick this year. It's probably going to be a top 5 pick, but future first, 2024 first, maybe, especially if you think you're going to be good. and that pick's going to be in the 20s. I think that could be worthwhile. So Ryan Poles is going to be an opportunistic GM. There's no doubt about that. Vibing with the dog, we should draft Skoronski, slide Braxton to right tackle until he can stop getting bull rushed and stronger. Look, that's going to be a question that the Bears will have to answer to themselves this offseason. How do they view Braxton Jones? Is he the starting left tackle? Do they think he can play right tackle? And if they think he can, is that appealing enough to move him over there and then go get a left tackle, whether it's Skoronski or someone else in the draft or free agency? So, part of me worries of moving Braxton Jones. He's made so much progress, but he's handled every question so far for me. Moving him to right tackle is just another kind of belt in that, loop in that belt, if that makes sense. He's done fantastic. Sorry for eating your burger. I hear you, but Dable change things. Let's be real. It's the staff. Harrison gets it. Got Fields injured. Williams, even with Roquan and Quinn, sucked as DC. Look, I'm not saying I think this staff is all world. I'm just telling you I don't think changes are coming this offseason. I think this staff is going to be given a pass due to the lack of talent. Do I think that should happen? Not necessarily. But I'm also not in the camp of fire everybody in year one because this season kind of fell apart. I think you have to give this thing some time. If you're firing coaches every year, every other year, you're never going to build stability. That's just a fact. Thanks for all the questions. Use hashtag Bears for a future mailbag. Also, follow me on social media at HGramNFL, Twitter, Instagram. You can ask me questions over there where I also answer all of your Bears questions. So appreciate you guys tuning in to this mailbag video.